In 2021, one company's collapse sent shockwaves across the global economy. A single real estate giant in China had built hundreds of skyscrapers, sold millions of apartments, and borrowed more money than some entire countries. Its name was Evergrande, and when it started to fall apart, the world held its breath. Could this be China's Lehman Brothers moment? Could the collapse of one company trigger a financial crisis across the globe? Today, we break down the story of Evergrande, the company that went from building dreams to creating a $300 billion nightmare. To understand how Evergrande became so big, we need to rewind to 1990s. China was changing fast. The government had begun opening its economy. Millions of people were moving from villages to cities, and the demand for new homes was exploding. This was the perfect time for real estate developers. In 1996, a man named Zhu Jiayin, also known as Hui Kaiyan, founded Evergrande in Guangzhou. He started small, building affordable apartments for China's growing middle class. But he had a vision: build fast, build big, and borrow heavily to keep expanding. And it worked. By the 2000s, Evergrande was one of China's largest property developers. It sold apartments before they were even built, using the money from future homeowners to fund construction. This pre-sale model gave the company an endless stream of cash, fueling more projects, more land purchases, and more borrowing. Evergrande became a symbol of China's housing boom. Towering skyscrapers, massive residential complexes, shopping malls, even entire cities, Evergrande was everywhere. At its peak, the company directly employed 200,000 people and indirectly supported more than 3 million jobs. But with every new building, Evergrande's debts grew larger. So why did Evergrande and many other Chinese developers borrow so much? Because in China, real estate is everything. Unlike in many countries, Chinese families don't usually put their savings in the stock market. Instead, they invest in property. Buying an apartment is not just about having a home. It's about financial security, family pride, and a way to pass wealth to future generations. As a result, real estate prices soared. By 2020, real estate and related industries made up nearly 30% of China's entire GDP. Think about that. Almost one-third of the country's economy was tied to housing. Developers like Evergrande kept borrowing to buy more land, launch more projects, and promise more apartments. Local governments loved it because they could sell land to developers for huge profits. Home buyers believed in it because property prices kept going up. It was a cycle of confidence, fueled by debt. But cycles don't last forever. By the mid-2010s, Evergrande wasn't just building homes anymore. It had expanded into electric cars, theme parks, bottled water, even a professional soccer team. But behind the shiny projects was a dangerous truth. Evergrande was drowning in debt. By 2021, the company owed over $300 billion, making it the most indebted real estate developer in the world. Here is how the system worked. Evergrande would borrow from banks. It would also sell apartments before they were built, using that money to start new projects. And when bills came due, it often borrowed more to pay off old loans. This is what experts called Ponzi-like structure, relying on constant new money to cover all debts. For years, the Chinese government allowed this debt-filled growth. After all, it kept the economy booming. But by 2020, Beijing had had enough. the government introduced the Three Red Lines policy, a set of rules to stop developers from borrowing endlessly. Evergrande, which had broken all three red lines, suddenly found itself cut off from easy money, and that is when the cracks began to show. In 2021, news spread that Evergrande was struggling to pay its debts. Investors panicked. Home buyers worried the apartment they had already paid for would never be completed. Construction projects across China came to a halt. Families who had invested their life savings into unfinished apartments protested outside the government offices. Workers and suppliers demanded payment. Evergrande's stock price crashed. Its bonds, once trusted investments, became almost worthless. The company tried everything to survive. It sold off assets, promised to restructure, and even asked employees to lend it money. But the hole was simply too deep. The world started asking, could this be China's Lehman Brothers moment? Would Evergrande's collapse trigger a global financial meltdown, just like the 2008 crash in the US? So why does one company's failure matter so much? Because Evergrande is not just a company, it's part of a system that touches almost every corner of China's economy. Millions of families depend on developers to deliver homes they already paid for. Banks and financial institutions have lent billions to real estate companies. Local governments rely on land sales for their budgets, and global investors hold Chinese bonds, tying Evergrande's fate to the world economy. In simple terms, when Evergrande shakes, millions of people feel the earthquake. But here is the twist. The Chinese government has tried to contain the damage. Instead of letting Evergrande completely collapse, regulators have stepped in to manage its restructuring. The priority is clear. Finish the apartment for homeowners, avoid a full-blown financial crisis, and slowly deflate the property bubble. It's not easy. As of 2024, Evergrande officially filed for bankruptcy protection in the US, while Chinese courts oversee its restructuring at home. The process is messy, uncertain, and still unfolding. The fall of Evergrande is more than a story about one company. It's a warning about what happens when growth is built on endless dates. For decades, China's real estate boom seemed unstoppable. Apartments kept selling, prices kept rising, and developers kept borrowing. But Evergrande showed the world that no boom lasts forever. For China, the challenge now is huge. How to shift its economy away from property and towards more sustainable growth. For the rest of the world, the lesson is clear. Debt-fueled bubbles eventually burst, whether in New York, Tokyo, or Guangzhou. Evergrande promised to build the homes of the future. Instead, it's built one of the biggest financial risks of the 21st century. From skyscrapers to Date Mountain, from dreams to crisis, the story of Evergrande is still being written, and the world is watching.